from home in Montgomery, Alabama. Their first 12 games this season will be on the road, and well, such is life, according to head coach Tony Madlock and HBCU. Got to get those money games, got to try and raise up those resources. And Coach Madlock has got a nice crew he's assembled, but they're still trying to learn how to play with each other. 16 players, 12 newcomers, only 4 returners. So opening tap controlled by Rodney Howard and the Yellow Jackets, and we are open for business here on this Saturday afternoon. Kyle Sturdivant running the show at the point guard position. A number of new starters for the Yellow Jackets this afternoon as they shake up the lineup. Tristan Maxwell drills a three-pointer to get things going. That's one of the...
Not a bad way to start off the game in your first career start by Maxwell.
Here's a look at the starting five for Alabama State. TJ Madlock, their sophomore point guard, son of head coach Tony Madlock. We talked about Isaiah Range, and then Dwayne Posey getting a start today. He was off the bench the last time out. Corner three ball for Range, that is short, and the board rolls out of bounds down the baseline. They'll stick with Alabama State. Well, that's one of the keys, John, for Georgia Tech is shooting the basketball. They have really struggled from beyond three-point land this year, much to the surprise of the Yellow Jacket staff.
Yeah, I think tempo's important. Pace only scored 59 on the road at Carolina, and obviously a different look here by Alabama State than the Tar Heels, but nevertheless, tempo is going to be important for the Jackets today.
TJ Madlock out to Coleman, three-pointer off the front of the rim, and the rebound controlled by Sturdivant. Yellow Jacket starting lineup, we touched on a number of new faces. Tristan Maxwell making his first career start. Rodney Howard back in the starting lineup for the first time since mid-November. And some notable absences as well. Javon Franklin is not dressed out. He suffered a groin injury last Saturday against North Carolina, so he will not play today. And that layup blocked by Rodney Howard. And John, what are the keys today for these two clubs?
I think for Alabama State, tempo, set tempo, that's important. But more important for Alabama State, they struggle to score in the half court. They've got to push the tempo, get some easy buckets. And for Georgia Tech, it's all about the energy and effort coming off the exam week.
Tristan Maxwell already 2 for 2 from 3. That three-pointer swirls home for Amar Knox. Maxwell had missed his last 16 shots, John, before those 2 three-pointers.
Sometimes opportunity knocks and you're ready. It's that, that jolt of confidence you need.
Alabama State, led by first-year coach Tony Madlock, spent last season at South Carolina State, where he was up for the Joe B. Hall Award, which goes to the most improved program in all of college basketball. He was at South Carolina State. They had won 1 game the year prior. They went 15-16 under his watch. Entry pass and the high post to Howard. Pretty good turnaround for the former Memphis Tiger. College teammates of Penny Hardaway. Tristan Maxwell is on fire right now. 3 for 3 from the floor. He's got all 8 points.
Yeah, and he had a couple of good games at the end of last season, and he's picking up right where he left off there. He gets the opportunity, gets minutes, and he's producing.
He had just 17 points in the first 8 games he played this year. Jalen Moore rising up. He works through the contact, floats it in. He'll go to the line for 1 more. Eric Coleman, beg your pardon, TJ Madlock did all he could.
And Moore, that's him. He's got bounce, the strength, absorbs the contact. Playing great basketball since entering the starting lineup 5 games ago, along with Kelly.
Moore had 15 points, a team high along with Miles Kelly last Saturday. Went 6 for 10 from the floor against North Carolina. Also had a team high 5 rebounds. The Yellow Jackets really struggled on the glass this season, shooting 74% from the free throw line. And Georgia Tech out of the shoot, 4 of 5 from the floor.
And Moore, 5 consecutive games in double-figure scoring. His confidence is high. He's going to continue to grow. Only a sophomore. Sky's the limit for his game. He's so talented, so athletic. He continues to get better every time we see him play.
Coleman trying to take on Moore, and they'll whistle the Buford, Georgia native for the travel. Look at head coach Josh Pastner. Speaking of Memphis ties, he spent 7 years as the head coach at Memphis until taking the job here at Georgia Tech. He has matched that tenure this year.
These two coaches very familiar with each other, working the Southeast, and Coach Madlock during his time at Auburn and Ole Miss. Also interviewed with Coach Passel when Passel was at Memphis. So they're very familiar with each other. They're going to compete today.
And Kyle Sturdivant, he too was cold recently. Did not make a shot, went 0 for 6 last Saturday. He hits the 3. And the Yellow Jackets, who have maligned their three-point shooting so far this season, they have found it here in the early going, an 8-0 run. Maxwell with Georgia Tech's first 8 points this afternoon. It's led the Yellow Jackets to an 11-point lead here in the first 3+ minutes. So far, John, no concerns about a final exam hangover, huh?
Yeah, give exams every week. The way they're shooting, 83% from the floor, 3 of 3 beyond the arc, 5 of 6 from the field. And Maxwell, I'd start leaving tests in his locker.
And a whistle on the floor. Our officiating crew, Jamie Lucky, Jeff Pond, and J.W. Lucas. That foul is going to be on Rodney Howard.
Wiley, sometimes that's all you need as a player is the opportunity, and that's really gets the mind right. You got to step up and not looking over your shoulder and seeing who's coming off the bench. And Maxwell playing confident early on in this one.
We mentioned Javon Franklin not in the lineup today. He is not dressed. Both Debo Coleman and Davon Smith, spoken Coach Passer, said they were questionable for this afternoon. And we're going to have a foul charge to Dwayne Posey, the junior from Memphis, Tennessee. Let's take one more look here.
Contact underneath there. We see the extension of the arm, the rake across the eye.
We saw Kyle Sturdivant hit a 3 earlier. He's got 2 rebounds and 2 assists already today. And that's really what Georgia Tech needs from him, is be a good quarterback and avoid plays like that. TJ Madlock lays it in.
Well, his pedigree is there. Last year, almost a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio by Sturdivant. He's a heady guard. He's got a lot of minutes, a lot of starts under his belt, and he'll be able to step up today.
In that loss against North Carolina, Maxwell's 3 won't fall. Tech actually had a season-high 9 3-pointers. Rodney Howard is blasted at the rim. He'll go to the line. And we'll step aside one more time. Georgia Tech leading by 9. Somewhere else, and Tristan Maxwell has answered the call, John.
Yeah, he's been on fire, taking good shots, great shot selection. We knew he was capable against BC late in the season last year. 7-11 from beyond the arc. Had 22 points in that game. Scored 9 in a loss to Utah early on in November. So he's definitely a great shooter. That's what he's known for out of North Mecklenburg High School in Charlotte area, North Carolina.
And struggled those shooting, John, and that really is one of the stories for this Yellow Jacket team, is they felt like they've got some guys on the roster who can really light it up from deep, but that has not been the case so far this year. Tristan Maxwell, one of those guys. 1 of 12 from three-point land entering today. He's hit 2 of the first 3. You've also got a guy like Lance Terry, who's been cooling off from three-point land recently. You've also got a few other guys in the mix. In fact, if you take Miles Kelly and Debo Coleman out of the mix, the rest of the team shooting below 30% from 3.
Yeah, low 20s collectively, the rest of the team. And, that's what they need, guys to step up. Sturdivant, very capable shooter. But it's good to see Maxwell, because that's what he does. If he's going to find the floor, especially when you see zone, he can hurt the zone.
Miles Kelly gets a good look. Loose ball, corralled by Knox. Nice feed ahead to Isaiah Range, who's off the glass and in. Hornets trying to mount a rally here. Georgia Tech in the first 5 minutes has come out playing sharp. Maxwell, another 3. You bet! He can't miss, and give us a glance towards the Hornet bench.
Yeah, just play ball. I might want to save that look. It was it's a hard stare right there. I don't want to get caught with the officials.
Dwayne Posey is stuffed by Moore. Second chance. No, Howard the board. Kelly on the wing, stop and pop. Ripped away by Alex Anderson, the transfer from South Alabama. He was teammates last year with the Yellow Jackets' Javon Franklin. Debo Coleman coming to the scorer's table looking to check in. Range's 3 won't fall. Another rebound for Howard.
Maxwell gives that hard stare to Coach Matlock. You don't need to, bat the nest, so to speak. The Hornets will come flying. Matlock will coach these guys up. They're going to play hard just like him. That's his DNA.
But right now, the Yellow Jackets cannot miss. They are 5 of 8 from distance. Tristan Maxwell has hit 3 of them, and look at that glare towards the pinch. Hot in this week's press conference, and that is exactly what has happened in the first 6 minutes of this one. Tech is 7 of 11 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3. And on those 7 makes, John, 6 assists. They've been moving the ball extremely well.
Yeah, that's important for this team. There's no one star in this team. It's a collective effort. Ball movement, player movement offensively is critical.
Blocked from behind by Maxwell. Knox on the take. The Yellow Jackets the other way. Kelly lets it fly. Short. And corralled by Madlock. He'll step on the gas. Weaves around Kelly. He runs the show for Alabama State. That's what Coach Madlock told us.
Yeah, and he's an awesome defender as well. He's going to draw the toughest assignment from the opponent every night. Just a tremendous athlete and competitor.
Sturdivant going up against the freshman Knox. Finds a window. Spills off the rim, no good. Range has been so hot his last couple of times out. 26 points, 27 points in his last 2 games. Alex Anderson with the left. Spins. Teardrop. Oh, nice move. So the Yellow Jackets will call a timeout. Boy, both teams are not shy about using these timeouts. Already 3 of them in the first 7 minutes, John.
Well, Pastner had momentum. He sees a couple plays he doesn't like. He's going to stop that right away. Had some words with his team, challenging them defensively. This is a Hornet team that has 4 guys on the floor at any given time that can handle the ball. I talked to Coach Matlock yesterday, Wiley, and he was high on this roster. The versatility of it, guys can attack off the bounce, catch a rebound, and go. That's tough to defend. Well,
in our conversation with him, we talked about how he's a brand new coach at Alabama State. They've got 75% of their players are brand new, and they're trying to build a new culture as well, new system, everything. It's just so hard to build that on the fly, especially when you're playing every game away from home. They did have a home game scheduled in November against Carver College, but that was canceled. So their first 12 games this year are going to be on the road, and it's not exactly like they've been just down the street. They've been to California, to Ohio, to Pittsburgh. I mean, they have gone north, south, just about every direction. And they've still got a couple more road games this week.
Yeah, and what resonated with me in that conversation, and Coach Matlock was high on the growth. They're getting better game by game, practice by practice. In the first 3 games of the season, they give up 96 and 91 points, giving up in the 90s, and then the next 8 or 9 games defensively, they're holding opponents in the low 70s. So you see improvement.
And Lance Terry, he continues the trend. His first shot of the afternoon falls. Debo Coleman and Davon Smith, good to see them on the floor, John. Their availability was questionable entering today. Did not start. They had each started each of the first 10 games for Georgia Tech. And Maxwell's going to bump Madlock and be called for the foul.
And Yellow Jackets, with Clemson coming in for the ACC home opener, not going to take any risks. You see a guy like Davon Smith come off the bench. The ankle's probably not at 100%. He's going to get some minutes. But he's a guy that definitely rebounds well out of the guard position. He's athletic. He's good defensively. He's got leadership. See him pushing the ball now. His minutes, probably be diminished today.
Well, and one thing he's done such a good job of this year, John, is he's taking care of the basketball. He's got an assist-to-turnover ratio of 2.5 to 1.
And that's the growth you want to see. Over time and experience, you want to see those numbers go up. Huge statistic, especially as you get into league play. Got to take care of the basketball.
Well, and that's been a hallmark, too, of Coach Pastner's time at Georgia Tech, is the players have gotten better year in, year out. Get a foul on the floor, charge 2. Tristan Maxwell and the Yellow Jackets have been draining 3-pointers so far this afternoon, John. That was one thing Coach Pastner felt strongly his team was going to be able to do this year, and today they've done it.
Yeah, and the common denominator has been great shot selection. These are high-quality shots. Obviously, Maxwell leading the charge, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Kelly and Sturdivant also getting in on the action. But it's ball movement and it's quality shot selection.
Georgia Tech 5 of 9 from deep. There's a look at Tristan Maxwell's numbers against the entire Alabama State team. Tristan had just 17 points this year in 8 games. And now in just over 8 minutes, he's put up 11. Just the second time in his career he's had double figures in a game. We got a long way to go in this one. Davon Smith gives it to Maxwell. Why not keep shooting? A little strong that time. The rebound belongs to TJ Madlock. Steps on the gas, bowls over Lance Terry. No whistle. Shot left short. Coleman rips away the rebound. Terry. No. Georgia Tech continuing to get open looks. A gamble by Terry looking for the steal. Range. Range has been quiet so far. Just 2 points. Coleman. And a foul. Going to go against the Yellow Jackets. Going to be on Rodney Howard. That's his second.
And that was a heady play late in the shot clock. Not much going on. The ball was sticking on the left side of the court. And number 30, Eric Coleman, with the speed advantage, takes advantage of the ISO situation to draw the foul. Heady play.
So Howard and Maxwell get a breather. Jordan Mecca and Miles Kelly in for the Yellow Jackets. And Roland McCoy making his first appearance today for Alabama State. Davon Smith, how good is that ankle? Looks fine there.
Get up, son, get up. Smith at the rim, and Georgia Tech's defense getting it done. The zone, the length, really bothersome to the Hornets.
Well, and that's the other piece for this Georgia Tech team, John, is do they need to shoot the three better? Absolutely. But they could do themselves a big favor if they can get out and run more often. Great entry pass and the jam from Darrell Reed, redshirt freshman from Hammond, Indiana.
And Josh Pastner not happy with the middle of the zone defense right there. He had some words with Mecca on the way down the court. Too easy.
Just the 5th game Mecca has appeared in this year. He's averaging less than 5 minutes a night. Smith misses the roll. Alex Anderson, head full of steam, dumps it off down low. Blocked by Mecca. He might be the best rim protector on this team.
Mecca steps up to the challenge. He bit the fake on the last possession, stayed in the game on that one, and there we have Debo getting in on the action.
And already Georgia Tech now with 8 different scores this afternoon. Only one player's made multiple field goals. That's Tristan Maxwell, who's got 11.
And Coleman's a guy that can score in bunches if he gets hot. In 6 of 10 games in double figures this season. He's known as a prolific scorer. He can score from anywhere on the floor.
Talk about defense turning into offense.
Yeah, the wing defense in the zone, to attack that, you got to have ball fakes, the high post area. You got to somehow get the ball to the middle. But for the Hornets, ball movement, moving that zone side to side, and you're not just going to be able to telegraph passes.
First free throw, no good from Darrell Reed. You think that dunk from Davon's going to be on Lil Sneak, his Instagram handle?
No doubt about that.
He's got some serious followers on that, He's got 82,000 followers, Lil Sneak.
I'm surprised someone's not operating it right now. I mean, that account's hot.
Second free throw good from Reed. Redshirted last year, now in his second year at Alabama State. Debo Coleman brings it up.
Jackets looking at the 2-3 zone of the Hornets. Again, ball movement. And try to attack the seams.
Ball screen from Mecca. Coleman goes the other way. Smith into the paint. Lifts off. Leaves it short. And Isaiah Range controls the board. And nearly a turnover down low. Terry scrumming for it. Point blank layup. Won't fall. Nice hands. TJ Madlock creates the steal. No points off the turnover, and the goaltending is going to be called, so they'll count the basket.
Great body control by Matlock. He avoided the charge. Mecca had the feet set. And, you know, that's the versatility. You see the size, the length of TJ Matlock. He's just adds value in so many ways. And that's where he's at his best, playing downhill, attacking the rim.
He's just a sophomore playing in his 41st game. He started every single one of them.
I think I just got shout out by Matlock.
You did.
Coach Matlock, give me a shout out.
Now, you guys go way back, don't you?
Oh, yeah. My brother Mike, my twin brother, spent 6 years on the bench with Tony during his time at Auburn and also back to UTEP. They won 22 games a season over 4 years there, so they had a lot of good times together, and I know Coach Matlock well. Great human being.
Fond memories with the Miners. Miles Kelly for that last basket now at 5 points. Been balanced so far for the Yellow Jackets. They're still shooting over 50% from the field. TJ Matlock from the seat of his pants is going to get called for the travel.
Yeah, just an unfortunate possession. Looks like he hit a wet spot on the floor, lost his footing. Jackets will benefit, Wiley.
We'll keep an eye on Davon Smith. A little slow getting up there. Step aside. Georgia Tech 29-16 lead. 7:43 on the clock in the first half. And moments ago, we saw Georgia Tech guard Davon Smith go down. He'd been nursing that ankle injury, and boom, TJ Matlock steps right on it. And you can see Davon in some pain.
Yeah, and the hand immediately goes right to the upper part of his ankle. Davon obviously grimacing in pain. This thing, when you have an ankle injury, it doesn't take much to turn it again. I'm sure he's taped up to the, almost to his knee, but those things can occur easily, and the way that looked was not good.
Well, he is walking under his own power. We got Richard Stewart, the trainer, in his 16th season here at Georgia Tech. He'll take a look at him, getting that tape going. Taking that right sock off.
I assure you, it's not the first ankle roll that Richard Stewart's seen. He's one of the best in the business. And, he gets these guys back, the rehabbing and the hours those guys work. The unsung heroes of coaching staff, so the athletic trainers, they're the first ones to work and the last ones to leave. And you see Richard Stewart getting after it on the sideline, trying to get Davon ready.
And congratulations to Richard, by the way. He got married this offseason. His wife, Rachel, is the trainer for the Georgia Tech women's basketball team. And they're headed over to Boston this afternoon. They've got their ACC opener against the Boston College Eagles. That's one way to make it work. If you're going to work long hours, you get a wife in the same profession, right?
That does not hurt at all right there. So they speak the same language.
And Kyle Sturdivant hits his second shot of the day. He's now got 5 points. Story so far in this first half, Georgia Tech shooting the ball. 12 of 22 from the floor. They hit 5 threes on 10 attempts. Isaiah Raines trying to get it going. Swirls out. Lance Terry with the rebound.
And Howard did a good job defensively on that possession. That's a tough rotation. Howard closing out on range on the corner 3. So good defense by Rodney.
With the ball in the high post. Puts it on the floor. Kelly. Not his best shot. Haven't seen many of those from Miles this year. Sophomore leads the Yellow Jackets both in scoring and 3-point shooting.
Yeah, he went with the sidestep towards the sideline and, coming out of a dead ball situation, tough shot. Clock was running down.
Coleman off balance, can't hit it. I think Coach Matlock was hoping for a 3-point play opportunity. And for Eric Coleman, went to Buford High School. He actually began his college career at High Point playing for Tubby Smith.
See Sturdivant right there, giving up some inches, and he definitely got the elbow on the way up.
But they've got to get his shot going for Alabama State. Coach Matlock thinks that's imperative. He just has not shot the ball well this year, shooting below 25% from the field, below 60% from the free throw line. That's not the way Eric Coleman has played so far in his college career. Transferred in from South Plains College, first year as a Hornet. Just doesn't have it going right now.
Those are big free throws. You know, when you're down 15, every bucket matters. And Coleman's a guy that's going to see a lot of minutes, plays just shy of half a game. He's averaging 17 minutes on the season. And you get to the line, you got to try to knock him down.
Sturdivant doesn't get it to go. Offensive rebound for Jalen Moore. Goes up. Didn't quite get the roll. That was an area of focus, too, this week in practice. Offensive rebounding for the Jackets.
Yeah, against the Tar Heels, Jackets were crushed on the boards, -21 in the game, and only had one offensive rebound. But there's a guy right there at the line that, with Howard drawing the tallest opponent on the Hornets, Moore can have a field day in there if he's active and aggressive.
And the hope is that Javon Franklin would be available on Wednesday against Clemson, but if he's anything less than 100%, you can count on Jalen Moore. He'll be asked to do some work on the glass, and that's going to be a big key for him the rest of the season, no matter whether Javon's there or not.
And Moore's really been shooting the ball well from the free throw line. He was 17 of his last 20 coming into this, and now 3 of 3 on the day. So that's a great stat because he's a guy that can get to the line often.
Largest lead of the day for Georgia Tech at 17. One and done possession for Alabama State. Sturdivant on the ball. And a foul off the ball. Going to go against Eric Coleman.
It's a 16th foul for the Hornets. And that's one right there. It was late in the clock. They were doing a great job in their man-to-man defense and kind of bailed the Jackets out on that possession. Coleman will take a breather. On the shot clock, Hornets back into their zone. So giving different looks, keeping the Jackets off balance. Coach Matlock switching up.
Howard lays it in softly with the left. Now 8 different Yellow Jackets have made at least one basket. Posey blocked from behind by Jalen Moore. The vicious rejection.
Yeah, Moore can be real effective off the ball. His length, his athleticism, here you see anticipating. I'd like to see verticality on that. No, don't want to swat down, especially when you get into that ACC play. You're playing with a shorter bench. Plays like that, just the little ones where you don't want to give the officials any reason to blow the whistle and keep the hands straight up. But a great defensive effort.
And a good effort on the rebound as well. Georgia Tech now +5 in that category. Sturdivant has it blocked. Moore, the putback, yes. Jalen Moore on both ends cleaning up the glass.
Yeah, you know, Howard's going to eat space. He's going to eat bodies in there. And if you're active on the boards, you're going to be the benefactor. And that's what we saw in that possession.
Roland McCoy's three-pointer off the back of the iron. Maxwell's been hot in this first half. That one's short, long rebound. It's McCoy. Here come the Hornets to Isaiah Range. He's trapped in the corner. And a turnover. Jalen Moore can fly. And a little swirl and scoop-de-doo.
Yeah, the best offense for the Jackets starts with their defense. And again, their length, their athleticism, you know, the way they trap the corners out of the zone and play passing angles. Can't throw casual passes, and Jackets make you pay.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Tough shot. Christian McCray can't get it to go, and now foul's going to be against Dwayne Posey. That's his third. Yellow Jackets a 23-point lead. One more look at this steal and score from Jalen Moore.
Moore getting into the bag. Jack, an unbelievable defender. You know, can guard 4 positions on the floor, can rebound, block shots. You know, that should be a goal. It's certainly attainable with the right mindset.
As you mentioned, James, 9 points, 8 rebounds for the Texas Legends this year in the G League. He's got a birthday coming up next month. Tristan Maxwell having the best game of his season by a mile today, 11 points. His first free throw of the afternoon is good. That continues a 13-0 run for the Yellow Jackets. It's been close to 5 minutes since Alabama State last scored. And Jalen Moore just wins it back. Rodney Howard cashes in the second chance points. Rodney Howard's now made 11 straight field goals, John, dating back to 2 weeks ago against Northeastern.
He's got 8 rebounds to go with the 5 points, and this nice touch by the big man from 15.
Isaiah Raines throws up a circus reverse. Howard will turn it over to Sturdivant. Been one of the better halves of the season for Georgia Tech. Admittedly, Alabama State, not the stiffest competition they'll face the rest of the season, but for a group that was coming off final exams and a disappointing loss against North Carolina, this has been a nice job of answering the bell. Being down 2 of the regular starters, and Rodney Howard, a little high-low game that time.
Just dissecting on the offensive end with precision. Great ball movement, unselfish play, and on the defensive side of the ball, Wiley holding the Hornets to 25% from the floor.
Now a 17-0 run for Georgia Tech. Alabama State's missed their last 7 shots until that make from Eric Coleman. And while Georgia Tech has cooled off from distance, John, they still find a way to create opportunities in the lane. Sturdivant lets it fly. He drills it.
Well, you know, I think what we're seeing here, sometime in exam weeks, it's tough to get the entire team together. There's going to be days off, but it's a wonderful time for individual improvement, getting shots up, free throws, and the Jackets really shoot the ball well from 3. 6 of 14. And 9 threes in a game, which they had at Carolina, and the losing effort was the season high. So might see a season high today if they keep shooting from beyond the arc.
And Lance Terry worked through the contact as he took a hammer to the forearm from TJ Madlock. Still have a chance for an and one.
Yeah, and we've seen a lapse defensively, and then that's what Coach Matlock spoke about, is this maturity and teaching these guys how to play 40 minutes. And over the last 5 minutes, the Jackets have really taken it to the Hornets. You know, a young team, a collective group of guys that haven't played a ton of ball together. They yet to have a home game. But I like what I see on the bench over here on the right. There's a high-energy coaching staff. It's tough to stay positive, you know, when you're playing away from home and you're taking some L's, but you know, Coach Matlock's done a nice job at turning this into a learning experience, and you know, he's got to teach at halftime. We've got to play defense. We can't let up. And the Jackets are just picking them apart right now.
Tech has put up 50 points in the first half. Sturdivant bothered from behind. Maxwell, another triple. Yes, dead on. That's his 4th three-pointer of the half.
You know, that's one as an assistant coach, Wiley. You know, thinking back to my days as a former assistant coach, he's probably not on the scouting report a lot. There's not a circle around him as the, you know, the laser shooter from outside, unless you're looking back to the previous season. And, you know, you're kind of sitting there on the bench like, oh, my God, where's this guy coming from? And, you know, this I'm having flashbacks. You know, you miss a guy on the scout. He hasn't done much this season. That's why you got to be thorough. He's definitely a guy that hit 7 threes late in the year against BC last year. And as a coach, as a staff, you got to find these guys, find shooters. Players got to know that going into the game.
Well, I feel pretty confident Clemson's staff will be aware on Wednesday, right?
And I'm not saying they didn't know it going in. Coach Madlock's pretty thorough coach, and he's been super successful. Probably just PTSD from my assistant coaching days. Been on the wrong side of that.
Last 7 minutes, Georgia Tech has outscored Alabama State 26-2. And Alex Anderson gets a chance in the free throw line. He's probably one of the most versatile players on this Alabama State roster, John. He can play positions 1 through 4, and as you see, he's from Memphis. He has actually known the Madlock family for a long time. So when Coach Madlock got the job at Alabama State and Alex Anderson was in the portal. It was a pretty easy match.
And Madlock's an unbelievable recruiter. He's a legend in the Memphis area around basketball, the history of basketball, playing with those great teams of Penny Hardaway, and then coaching for 25-plus years. He's done a tremendous job recruiting in the Southeast United States. So he's going to do well here.
And there's a distinct Memphis flavor to this Hornet roster as well. They've got a number of players from that Western Tennessee area. 45 seconds left in the first half. It's been a picture-perfect half for the Yellow Jackets, shooting 57%. Alabama State shooting just 26%. Jordan Mecca with the rebound. Terry elevates and drops one. Oh. That got the bench up.
Darrell Reed, welcome to the ACC. Crummins Court. He just took that in the face. Polaroid. I didn't see that coming.
No.
Wow, that's some quick hops right there.
It's got over a 40-inch vertical. Final 10 seconds. Hard to imagine a better way to finish off what has been a dominant first half for Georgia Tech. TJ Madlock's three, no. Jalen Moore the rebound. Buzzer sounds, and it is a 35-point lead for the Yellow Jackets over Alabama State at the half. Tech nails 7 3-pointers and shoots close to 60% in the opening. On that sheet stick out to you?
Yeah, I think the 15 assists right there is the one thing that tells the story. That was created by good defense, pitch aheads, and the extra pass on the half-court sets. And 15 assists on just shy of 24, 25 made baskets. That's pretty good.
So Alabama State with possession. Rodney Howard pressing Madlock up near the timeline, left some space open down underneath, and Dwayne Posey, junior from Memphis, drops a two-handed hammer.
I take that back. While it was 21 made field goals, so 15 assists on 21.
That's pretty good. First offensive sequence for Georgia Tech. They've got their starting five from the first half out: Rodney Howard and Kyle Sturdivant, the seniors who have been coming off the bench the last 5-6 games. All of a sudden a chance today, and they have responded. Rodney Howard with a two-hand jam on his end. Range, oh, what a move, Isaiah Range. He was quiet in that first half, John, but he has a chance to light it up.
He's the leading scorer on this roster, and 26.5 points per game over the last two coming into this one. He takes a strong take right there. Georgia Tech's really done the job finding him, playing the scouting report, held him to 2 points in the first half. So he's a guy that can get off. He can score from beyond the arc, really knocks down the three.
Can't finish the three-point play. Shoved into the corner. Tristan Maxwell, have a day. That is his 5th three-pointer of the afternoon. And he now officially, John, has more points today than he did in the first month and a half of the season.
Yeah, he's chasing that career-high 22 he had against Boston College late last season.
Back to Jalen Moore. He lost track of it. I think it went off the foot of Eric Coleman.
Another corner three. Jackets making the extra pass. The goods to greats are flowing for the Jackets. Unselfish basketball. The bench is up. Great energy.
Well, in the story through the first 10 games of the season, John, was that nobody was making threes outside of Tristan or Debo Coleman and Miles Kelly. And a timeout called by Georgia Tech. Today, non-Debo, non-Miles, they are 7 for 11 from three. Georgia Tech in control, adding their lead early in the first half, second half.
Geico has been offering savings for over 85 years.
Second huddle as Georgia Tech leads 60-24. And Tristan Maxwell, how about delivering in your first career start, John?
Next man up, next man up. Tristan answered the bell right there. 18 points, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. So a clean game from the floor as well. Taking care of the basketball in 17 minutes of play. You can see the comparisons there. So nice to see him taking advantage of the opportunity. And as well, Sturdivant, the senior, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists in 16 minutes. those were the two new starters tonight after, Tech had a solid 5 going for 5 games. And so both guys stepping up to the challenge.
Javon Franklin out with injury. Debo Coleman and Davon Smith, a little banged up as well. They have played this afternoon. But, for Coach Pastner, John, when you have a chance to get some new guys in the rotation on a day like today, when you see these guys deliver like they have, what does that do moving forward for their roles?
Well, number one, it certainly doesn't hurt their role. I think it gives them some confidence. An important part of growth is getting the playing experience. And, you can only put 5 on the court. And coming off the bench for 2 or 3 minutes spotty here or there is a lot different than getting into the flow of the game. And so, it's tough to be a great shooter off the bench. They're hard to find. But hopefully a game like this, Maxwell can find minutes in ACC play and draw on this experience.
We've touched on it a couple of times, but that was 22 points against Boston College. I mean, I don't want to say single-handedly winning that game, but that was a huge performance. And for a team that won just 5 ACC games last year, John, if they can get even half of that type of production off the bench from number 11, go a long way for Georgia Tech as they prepare to take on the gauntlet of ACC conference play.
I agree. Mental toughness is just, it's such an important thing, and it's so hard to hone that skill. It's definitely a skill to be tough and put misses behind you and turnovers and not let them dwell and eat on your confidence. And hopefully a game like today gets Maxwell going.
Jalen Moore tries to go behind the back, somehow retains possession. Maxwell, bounce pass to Mecca, can't finish. Good look, though. Good feed underneath.
Maxwell wasn't happy, man. That was his dime. That was his assist. He said, come on, Mecca.
He's already got 3 of them this afternoon.
He wanted it.
Got the bounce. Isaiah Range finally with his first 3 today. Just the second for Alabama State as a team.
And again, he was 11 of his previous 14 in 2 games coming into this one from beyond the arc. So he's a very good shooter on Matlock's roster.
And Kyle Sturdivant strokes it home. He's now got 11 points. He's hit 3 threes. He and Maxwell combined to hit 8 of Georgia Tech's 9.
One more, and they will collectively tie Georgia Tech's season high from beyond the arc.
Yes. Jordan Mecca called for the foul there, pleading his case. Thought he had all ball there on Dwayne Posey. So 3rd foul on Jordan Mecca. Dwayne Posey, first year at Alabama State. Last 2 years he was at Kilgore College. That's in Kilgore, Texas, about an hour west of Shreveport.
When you're in a situation like Coach Matlock and you're rebuilding and assembling a team and you play 12 games on the road, which is, he inherited a lot of that schedule.
Yes,
he kind of walked into a lot of that. His hands were tied, and there's an art to scheduling, but sometimes, in a SWAC level school, you've got to play those bye games, but you can still strategically pick them. I don't think that's the case of what Coach Matlock walked into. And if you have to find the silver lining, the backcourt of Matlock and Range is really good, and they're combined 8 of 17 from the floor. They're playing at a high level, in a losing effort, but you got to build on the positives if you're Coach Matlock.
And Jalen Moore. It is really remarkable how far he has come in the last 12 months.
He is, I think they saw that. He was a late bloomer in high school, and Georgia Tech was lucky to go in and grab him. He was heavily coveted late in the game, and Coach Pastner and the staff did a tremendous job in the recruiting effort, selling the school, the institute, the degree in Atlanta. But above all things is, as the opportunity has been presented, he's really stepped up and shined.
That first real breakout for him was Clayton State in January in a non-conference game.
Yeah, he goes out there and no Michael DeVoe, no Jordan Usher. He said, all right, it's my time. I better show up.
Kind of similar to what's happened today with Davon Smith, Debo Coleman limited, Javon Franklin out. No problem so far for Georgia Tech, though. They have shot the ball at an impressive clip, 57% from the field, 9 of 17 from 3.
The growth I've seen in Moore's game is, he's comfortable in his role. He knows his limitations. Very rarely does he take a bad shot. Doesn't force early contested threes. He's under control. There you see fast break opportunity right there. He's starting to get going right there. Leading scorer for the Hornets, picking it up.
Isaiah Range, top 5 in the SWAC and 3-pointers, as well as minutes per game. He's played 38 minutes or more in 3 straight.
He's got 9 points in the second half, and just on over 5 minutes of play.
Alex Anderson thinks about the 3, kicks out to Range, just off the mark. Miles Kelly corrals the board. Subs getting ready to check in for Georgia Tech. Kyle Sturdivant, he's had a pretty full day today. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He's messing around with a triple-double here if he gets a few more rebounds and assists. TJ Madlock wearing his dad's number 20. His father, Tony Madlock, the head coach at Alabama State. Anderson pestered by Maxwell. Gets a step and stuffed by Jordan Mecca. Alley-oop. Yes! Jalen Moore with a roar to the baseline crowd.
Give Maxwell the assist.
They have come to play, Tristan Maxwell and Jalen Moore. 31 combined points. They've also teamed up for 6 assists together. And a reach in there from Maxwell on Tony Madlock. Well, we've had just about everything today except the alley-oop. And we got it moments ago. Maxwell floating. Jalen Moore. Final minute of overtime to ice the Yellow Jackets and end their season. He's got some fond memories going up against Georgia Tech, doesn't he?
Yeah, clutch performer, toughness, mental toughness, 6 of 6, 6 of the 9 overtime points. You can't say enough about it. And he's going to do great things here. That's a Georgia Tech team. Bobby Cremens, could he recruit? He had 7 NBA players on that roster. You're talking about John Barry, James Forrest, Travis Best, Matt Geiger, a handful of others. Freddie Vincent was a great shooter. Madlock and Penny Hardaway got the best of Cremens and the Jackets on that day.
And that was the game after James Forrest hit the buzzer beater against USC to send Georgia Tech to the Sweet 16. James Forrest in the house today.
Oh, he's a big supporter of Georgia Tech. Lives locally here in Atlanta. Is engaged in the grassroots basketball community. He's always done a lot of coaching around Atlanta. But he had an unbelievable run in the early 90s, him and Travis Best and the Barry boys.
12.5 to play. And speaking of memories from 30 years ago, Jalen Moore a little lame coming out of that pile. Tony Madlock's going to be facing his former teammate Penny Hardaway on Wednesday.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier.
Yep, no, it does not.
He knows how to take on a challenge, but a nice schedule right there. Get home to family. I know Coach Madlock has a lot of family in the Memphis area, so it'll be a nice homecoming for him. And always great to compete against, a guy he once went to war with as a player and a coach.
And Debo Coleman showing some nice aggression there. He's from Memphis, Tennessee as well. He's known the Madlock family for a little while. There's plenty of Memphis ties here this Saturday afternoon in Atlanta. In fact, take a look at how many players we have from Memphis. Josh Pastor's the head coach at Memphis. I mean, that's Grind City right there.
Yeah, Tony's going to do great on the recruiting trails up there. There's not a gym he goes into in that metro area that they don't know his name and his face. He's recruited it for years and was obviously a dominant player collegiately and at the high school level.
Alex Anderson with a jumper, and now Lance Terry's connected twice from deep in the last couple of minutes. The Yellow Jackets have now hit 11 threes this afternoon, a new season high. They also have 21 assists on 29 baskets.
Yeah, my guess is they were all in the gym. We call them vitamins. You know, getting your vitamins, getting your shots up, working on your free throws, your three-point shooting. They certainly look like they were the benefactor of that during exam week.
And good to see Davon Smith as well back on the floor. Looked like he had re-injured that ankle in the first half. Becca hands it off to Jalen Moore. He'll go to the line.
Nice action there, getting the handoff around the elbow. That's tough action to guard, and if the defense helps from the wing, you got a wide open corner three.
Georgia Tech done offensively, defensively. Johnny's looked in his best form today.
He is. He's got it going on both ends. 9 points, actually 11 points, 9 rebounds, correct? I got that mixed up. 11 rebounds, 9 points.
Yes, he's on his way.
3 assists, 0 turnovers, 1 block. All I knew, he was 1 shy of a double-double right there. He was chasing it, so he's close. Gets back in. There's a good chance we'll see another double-double out of Howard. Had a monster game in the opener against Clayton State, which he had a double-double to start the season.
He's got 4 fouls. But I'm with you. I would imagine you get to see him once more time this afternoon at some point. 40-point lead for the Yellow Jackets after Jalen Moore makes those 2 free throws. He's now 5 of 6 from the free throw line. 3-pointer wide right from Isaiah Range. That'll be Georgia Tech basketball.
The Hornets fighting. They're clawing. They're clawing in the second half. It was, before those 2 free throws were made, it was just a 3-point differential in the second half, almost 10 minutes in. So, Coach Matlock, whatever he said at halftime, they're competing. There's no quit.
No, they're getting some good production in the second half, too, from Isaiah Range. He had just 2 points in the first half, 9 here in the second. Debo Coleman continuing to work. Jordan Mecca, second chance points. Another thing the Yellow Jackets have done a good job of today is getting in transition. 20 points this afternoon in the fast break.
Yeah, 9 Jackets have seen the court, and all 9 have scored now with that Mecca 2.
Darrell Reed, a smooth J. And if you're Alabama State, taking licks like this, on the road, this is their 10th straight road game. They've got Monday against Arkansas State, Wednesday against Memphis. One of the things it does build some camaraderie among the team when you're spending that many nights away from home. You've gone to California, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Jordan Mecca, another bucket from point blank. He's got 4 now.
Yeah, it's tough to have fun when you're losing, but I think this coaching staff that Coach Matlock's assembled, they've done a great job keeping it upbeat. They look like they have fun, that they genuinely like each other. And he spoke about that on the phone.
Yes.
He said, they played 1 game in the last 20 days. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of practice. That's a lot of two-a-days. That's a lot of time together. And he said not once did he have a day over those 20 days where they weren't getting along and getting better and having fun with it.
Darrell Reed heating up here for Alabama State. He was averaging just 1 point per night. He had scored just 6 points this season. And Reed's now got 7 with a chance for an 8th here at the free throw line.
Yeah, he had 3 games, DNP didn't play.
Yeah.
So nice production in the second half from Reed. He's got great size. It's a good frame on him. He's doing some work in the second half.
Stands 6'8". And he hits his first free throw of the year. And a 1 for 3 on the season. Davon Smith sneaks through and touched every last part of the rim but wouldn't go. Coleman's 3, short. Got to get him going. Range of the offensive rebound. Hammond leaves the hook shot short. And we're getting a look at Kirill Martinov as well. Number 10 for Georgia Tech is checked in. Now Alex Anderson's going to return for Alabama State, spelling Reed. Martinov, freshman from Ontario. Reclassified to the 2022 class. Miles Kelly gets an easy 2. Tech hasn't needed his scoring prowess today. 7 points for Kelly, 4 for Coleman, 2 for Smith. They've gotten double-figure efforts from Sturdivant, Maxwell, Jalen Moore, and Lance Terry. And they're going to call Kelly for the fouls. He reached behind, knocked the ball loose.
Yeah, Terry's, quietly, we've been talking about a lot of players today. We haven't mentioned Terry much, the transfer from Gardner-Webb. He's 5 of 6 from the field. He's got 13 points. His development's been there as well, and he's taking full advantage of the opportunity today with, his teammate Davon Smith nursing that ankle injury, and his minutes are down. So Terry's a guy that can help this Jacket team come ACC play. Well, entering this season, John, no player on this Yellow Jacket roster had more points at the college level than Lance Terry, which speaks, A, to Lance's success at Gardner-Webb and also to the absence of proven scorers on this Georgia Tech team. But the sophomore nucleus has been so strong. Miles Kelly, Debo Coleman, and Jalen Moore especially today. But getting to add a guy like Lance Terry to that mix, and he's one of those guys who, if he can shoot the ball better, especially from 3 moving forward, this Georgia Tech team could make some impact in the ACC standings. Smith tunneling underneath. Kelly, long range call, and he swishes it. Just like that, he's in double figures. It's now 6 consecutive games for Kelly as a starter, scoring in double figures.
Georgia Tech 12 of 22 from 3. Down to Martinov, going to work. And they're going to call him for the offensive foul. And he's pretty raw down there. And Miles... Alabama State playing on the road here in Atlanta, and they've got ties. One former Hornet has made his name loud here in Atlanta. Any idea, John? Recognize that headshot?
I don't want to ruin it for our audience, man. Who is that? I know it, but I got some help, so I got to be honest.
So 1995 to 1997, one of the Alabama State Hornets, Tauheed 2 Chainz Epps. Star rapper here in Atlanta and a part owner of the College Park Skyhawks, just about 20 minutes south here of Midtown Atlanta at the Gateway Center.
That's the Eastern Division first place Skyhawks. They're on their way to Vegas to play in the Showcase Cup. And the G League's it's unbelievable. The growth of the league, the development. Interesting stat, Wiley. 234 players currently active in the NBA have played in the G League. That's 47% of the league. So it's really turned into a true farm system.
And we've seen a number of Yellow Jackets. We saw James Banks earlier today playing in the G League. You also got guys like Moses Wright, who's made his name in the G League. Marcus Georges Hunt spent a good bit of time. In fact, Marcus Georges Hunt, North Clayton High School, also the alma mater of 2 Chainz. So Coleman curling in. Martinov becomes the 10th Yellow Jacket to score today.
And a nice job keeping the ball in the left hand, not exposing it, not bringing it back to the right. Good left hand finish by the big.
Stolen away. Coleman will go to the line for 2.
So Debo getting in on the defensive action with the steal. Another chance to earn him the hard way at the free throw line.
And Kirill Martinov. One more look at that move. His second basket as a Yellow Jacket. First today.
Martinov knifing his way to the basket, Silky smooth at 6'10".
And we're also going to hear from another freshman, Fred Paul Bagatskas. Freshman from Latvia will check in. Lance Terry to the bench. TJ Madlock also returns, replacing Isaiah Range for Alabama State.
Pastner right there. Good example of going global with recruiting. Yes. It's a global game, global institute here, one of the best in the world, and you can attract players from all over.
Yeah, but Bagatskis, I beg your pardon, did not play against North Carolina, but played for the Latvian national team in the Euro Championships in both their U16 and U20 clubs. So foul on Bagatskis there.
Good-looking prospects with length, skill, high IQ players. Baby-faced right there.
Yes,
you can see it.
Yes.
I mean, that's a young guy right there. He's got time to work under Coach Pastner and the staff, develop the body.
And Coach Pastner's been very clear from the moment he got to Georgia Tech. One of his missions is not just attracting good players, but turning good players into great players. And the development that we've seen individually for a guy like Moses Wright, Ben Lammers, James Banks, Joshua Hoagie. I mean, the names, go on and on with the guys who've gotten better individually. And that's been a trend for this team. And they got a pretty good base. You go back to that sophomore class, they were a top 30 class coming in. And also Davon Smith transferring in that year. Now they're in their second year, and then you layer that in with some freshmen this year. And if they keep this group together moving forward, you got a chance to do some special things perhaps in the coming years.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that sophomore class that Tech has, ranked top 30 in the country. And that's right where you want to be. You throw some player development, and on top of that, guys pan out, start getting momentum. Georgia Tech, the academics, the city of Atlanta, the platform to play on. And now with the, the NIL, no better market to be than Atlanta.
Martinov has it ripped away, and Alex Anderson with the jam. Alabama State has not let up despite the score. Applying a little pressure here in the backcourt as well.
Talk about recruiting, like, how do you recruit against Duke or North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Durham? Well, you've got Atlanta to sell.
Yes.
And with this NIL, it's a game changer. There's no better market in the ACC to be to grow your platform and shine than Atlanta.
And the Yellow Jackets will be welcoming in some Blue Bloods too coming next month. Duke will be here at the end of January. Also got Syracuse and Virginia coming in. The Cavaliers will be here in 2 weeks. Got a big game this afternoon taking on Houston. Three-pointer, Amari Knox. No. What do we have here?
I think Davon and Matlock just competing, getting into it. A little chirping going on. J.W. Lucas seen enough. He wanted to put a stop to the action before it got out of hand.
Technical foul has been assessed.
Now they're going to get Anderson.
It's going to be on both, double tech. So it'll be a technical foul on Alex Anderson and a technical foul on Davon Smith. Yep. I think Davon appreciated that bump right there.
You know what, though? Mature play by Davon Smith, not retaliating.
Yeah.
He definitely took a shot.
Spoke
too soon. He got him. He got him. He got in his head. Come on. Got Clemson coming up, man. Just eat it. Eat it.
I was going to say, I figured there was something else coming if they assessed a technical foul on Davon, too. So, hold on now.
I didn't know if it was the verbal response. I'm not sure. I couldn't read his lips.
So 4 minutes to play here in the second half. Rodney Howard looking for that double-double. Can't get it there. And we will step aside. Georgia Tech cruising to a 6-0 record here at home. Their 7th win of the season. 25 teams.
Not a bad thing to play them at home, though, Wiley. Yep. That always helps early on in the season. Unfortunately, students not in the building, so that's a variable that's unfortunate. But there's some good teams, man. Virginia, too, in the country speaks for itself, although Houston giving them all they can handle in Charlottesville today. Miami won earlier today over St. Francis by 15. That puts them at 11-1, ranked top 25 as well. So the going gets tough, like they say. You know, it's a tough road ahead for the Jackets.
Now, there's a couple teams, too, in the ACC that are having really tough starts. I mean, Florida State is 3-9. Looks like they're going to be in some trouble in the second half, trailing St. John's by 15. And you got Louisville, who's 1-9, but they're poised to pick up their second win of the season, second straight, leading Florida A&M by 7.
Yeah, you know, I think Georgia Tech's schedule is favorable this year. I think they got a good draw. There's a lot of parity in the league. You know, you get outside of Virginia, Duke. You know, I think Miami is very competitive. Virginia Tech's had a great start to the season, but Georgia Tech, when they go into games, they're not looking at, you know, oh, there's no way, we got to play perfect to win this. Like, they're going to have a chance. And the way they protect the ball and the way they defend, that stuff travels well. They just got to start knocking shots down like they did today, and then continue to, you know, have good rebounding effort collectively. Yeah,
I mean, I think the two keys for Coach Passer moving forward here in the short term, they've got to shoot the ball better, and they've done that today. 12 of 22 from 3. They're shooting 54% overall. And they've got to get out and run a little more. And I think if you talk to any coach in the country, they'll tell you that, because there's some easy points to be had if you can get in transition and score. But Georgia Tech with 21 fast break points today. Rodney Howard's got the double-double now, 11 points to go with his 11 rebounds.
And a healthy Howard is good for this lineup. You know, he can spill great minutes off the bench. You know, spot minutes, rebounding, and effective. He's about production. He's got the right-hand hook, the left-hand hook. He can rebound, eat space, and he's just a wide body in that zone. If he plays big, you know, that's effective.
Well, this margin currently at 39 points would be the largest Division I win for Georgia Tech under Coach Passenger. Their largest win ever was last year against Clayton State, 103-53. Anderson misses his jumper. 2.5 minutes to play. Gatskis gives it over to Sturdivant, who's directing traffic. How about the day for Kyle Sturdivant? 11 points, a career-high 8 rebounds, a career-high 7 assists.
Stepped up to the challenge and the opportunity presented, and he's still building on it, Wiley. He's not done yet.
No, he's not.
Getting it in.
13 points for Kyle today.
He's got to feel great, man. You know, he's through exam week. He's been in college since his 5th year. Transfer from USC.
Mm-hmm. 4th year. Third year at Georgia Tech. He will 1 year at USC. It's good hands by Begaskis.
It's a lot of exams, man. He's happy. He's happy right now. He's showing. He's glad to be out there playing and producing, and it's great to see coming off the bench and, you know, prior to this, but he gets the start today, and the senior stepped up.
He most certainly did. A season-high 13 points for Sturdivant this afternoon, and now the walk-ons will sub in for Georgia Tech. Smooth shot from Roland McCoy. And some of those names for the Jackets: Braden Daniels handling the ball, Coleman Boyd, a senior from Smyrna, wearing 30 in white. Final minute and a half here. Georgia Tech has matched their season high of 93 points. Had that against Clayton State on opening night.
And for Georgia Tech, you know, they've got some depth. They've got experience coming off the bench. Coleman, Kelly, and Moore are 1, 2, and 3 in the scoring column. It's a nice shot right there by the Hornets.
And 6 different Yellow Jackets with double-digit points. Good finish from Roland McCoy here. He's put up a quick 5 points in the final 2 minutes. And the three-pointer is good. Coleman Boyd with the bucket.
Another senior getting in on the action, stepping up, taking advantage of the playing time.
All-state guard for Mount Bethel. And how about that? His first points since his freshman year for Coleman Boyd.
I think with this roster, like Sturdivant and Howard, great minutes today, and it's not really about who starts the game. You get into ACC play, it's who finishes the game. You know, in a competitive game in the ACC, you don't get caught up in starters. If you're a senior, you bring it to the table and then you see what kind of work you can do, just like that senior did right there. Coleman Boyd, coach's son, Cal Boyd, former Wake Forest Demon Deacon. He's got DNA in his blood. Boyd knocking it down from deep. Great to see. Unbelievable team guy, locker room guy. He's put in his time. And it's good to see him get in the scorer's column.
And the 13th three of the day for Georgia Tech. Free throw good from Alex Anderson. And Georgia Tech can dribble it out here. 13 threes, third most ever under coach Josh Pastner for Georgia Tech. Martinov off the back of the iron. Final 10 seconds here. Alabama State going to fall to 1-9. Georgia Tech will improve to 7-4 and 6-0 at home. And they will head into a stretch of 15 straight ACC games with a season-high 96 points. Final second and a half here. One more baseline inbounds.
And the Hornets, they played Tech to a one-point game in the second half.
They did.
So that's the bright spot for Tony Madlock. Made the adjustments at the half. His team did not quit. One-point game in the second half. He'll have a nice road ahead. Finally get some home games in January.
So the Yellow Jackets remain undefeated at home. That game, or that